Synthia Totzke would have been remembered in history by her real name and not her internet persona, Cine Bear. She would have remained an ordinary girl who spends most of her spare time outside school working at GameStop. Except that she joined YouTube and casually moved from this to this. Yep, almost 23 million views in just 2 years. No talking head videos, no lifestyle content, she never even showed her face, just short animations and meme clips. What's even more alarming is how quickly Cine moved from being one of YouTube's most loved and entertaining creators to one of YouTube's most disliked, most apologetic, and most controversial creator.
I've c***ed a minor.
A few moments later.
I am not a g***er.
So, what actually happened? Another internet misunderstanding blown out of proportion? Or was Cine guilty as charged? This is the rise, fall, and silence of Synnibear. Synnibear has been an active YouTube creator for a while now. She's been putting up her artistic work as far back as the 2010s. When Cine had her YouTube debut in the 2010s, just like any new creator, she didn't expect to be known immediately, and she also probably didn't expect the fame that was coming. Her pieces were really good, no doubt. So good that people will still go back to rewatch these videos years later and keep asking for more. That's because the stories were so real, graphic, and emotive. Back then, Synthia was known as Scootaloo Loves Sans. Her name was a mashup of two extremely popular fandom characters at the time. She kept trying her hand on different things, experimenting, until her first big hit. And boom! 1.6 million views. 6 short days after this, Cine put up this 38-second clip. That earned her a brief 38 seconds of artistic finesse and voila, almost 23 million views. Only a few creators can actually pull that off. We're talking about the likes of KB Lane, who could get up to 47 million views on a single YouTube short. But his normal YouTube videos don't perform so well. When there's Zach King, whose actual videos can get as high as 71 million views, but that clip was more than 4 minutes long. But the Cine viral clip was neither a YouTube short, nor was it up to 1 minute long. It wasn't a talking video or a skit. It was a simple M-E-M-E, a meme. After that video peak in 2017, everything changed. Cine became popular. Her views picked up from hundreds of thousands to millions. People found her entertaining, and she's easily won their hearts. What's most interesting about this entire thing is how unconventional Cine was. She didn't have a rigid upload schedule, probably didn't have a content calendar, unlike many other YouTubers. We didn't even know the face behind the channel. It just looked like she was having fun, doing what she loved, free from any form of pressure and rigid structure. She started gaining more supporters and fans by the day, and was gaining traction in top meme and animation circles. More videos started coming up, and soon enough, she had an established fan base, and her other social media platforms like Twitter, Instagram, DeviantArt, and Tumblr were also reading up on numbers. Her subscriber count kept reading up day after day, and she was getting good reviews. Cine was in her prime, and she took advantage of this moment to stand out from the fandom affiliation.
Oh heck, the washing machine's gonna be in the background. I'm restarting Ponytail! There's nothing you can do about it. You can go read it on DeviantArt, and you can say goodbye to the ask format. I'm tired of it. Get out of here! It's dumb, it's stupid, it's
Cine wasn't set out to be just another creator. No, she wanted to stand put. She wanted to shine with her own unique persona and voice, and she got just that. Sadly, it's very easy to forget that nicknames aren't actual people, especially when discussing online personalities. They're more or less disguises, branding. There are mediums that our brains create to escape from reality, and that's what Cine basically did. After she uploaded her first video ever, her online personality was more or less a mask. The real person behind the facade was Synthia Totzke, and what most of the general public knows about her ends here. However, between then and now, Cine has gone from being an internet sweetheart to being not so well liked. Which begs the big question, starting with the rumors. Sometime in September 2024, Cine was accused of using Discord to exchange and receive pornographic material with a minor, and as you'd expect, things immediately got out of hand. Jack, her roommate at the time, who goes by Birdie online, came forward to back these allegations.
Here's what I'm aware of. Cine was in contact with a 14-year-old with the username Eno, and they'd been talking for 6 months. Cine sent Eno including sadomasochistic. She encouraged them to draw and would get upset when they wouldn't.
As you'd expect, the internet was in an uproar. Hearing these rumors from random people was totally different than hearing it from someone who was thought to be close friends with Cine. They were roommates. Anyway, Birdie didn't stop there. He had so much more to say. Major update, something horrible dawned on me. She has my old PC at her apartment. I didn't bring it with me and I can't get it. I can't drive, nor do I have the key. She's trying to ruin my life and I'm powerless to stop her. I changed my passwords, but that's all I can do. In another tweet, he said, Cine had my password and used it to get into my Discord account to find incriminating screenshots of me shit-talking her. I just had to change my passwords on everything, including my bank accounts and emails. I will not be silent about this. Fuck you, Synthia. You deserve to rot in hell. He put up a lot of posts on Twitter about Cine's strange behavior that has us all worried for his safety. He also talked about how poorly she treated him. And it seemed like that was what Jack was most upset about. These financial disputes seemed to have been existing for a long time, but Cine didn't address them head on. Jack wasn't comfortable with it, so he called her out where it would hurt the most: social media. The unfair financial treatment triggered Jack to speak publicly about other issues they had behind closed doors. And then, soon enough, he started saying that living with Cine no longer made him feel secure. Started posting death threats from Cine, which, as you would expect, earned him more sympathy. Birdie ran to the internet with all this evidence and started talking about moving out so he could be safe, and Cine wasn't helping matters. When this text message leaked, many people started to believe Birdie. So the moment he started a GoFundMe campaign and made it public, people started sending money. He set a $10,000 goal and he reached and exceeded his target in just 2 days. He put up an appreciation tweet to everyone when this happened. And when he announced that he had finally moved out of Cine's apartment, the internet was overjoyed. Then, Jack also came out to say that he was going to release another video about Cine Bear. Everyone assumed he wanted to spill more tea and they had their teacups in hand, ready to be served. Unfortunately, they never got served because Jack came out to say he couldn't go deeper into the situation because it was unsafe for him. After this, I honestly thought that'd be all on the subject, but nah. Jack came back to clarify everything he had previously claimed. He started explaining the details of his acclaimed sexual assault. He explained that there was some groping involved and apparently it was consensual, although after he gave it some thought, he felt a little uneasy. At this point, public opinion was a bit scattered. Everyone was agreeing to disagree. Some people stood with Birdie, others with Cine Bear, and some others stood for neither of them.
How old do you think Daddy is?
42. Oh, I mean, Dad is old. I think he's 7.
Either way, Birdie walked away with more than $11,000 US. Now, this is one part that is almost impossible to ignore when discussing the Cine Bear drama. Not the rebranding, not the hiatus, not even the fallout with a roommate. Most people could see through Jack, he wasn't a saint either. But Inno was different. Young, naive, innocent, and most of all, vulnerable. Everything seemed to have happened on Discord. According to the minor, Cine used Discord to have inappropriate conversations with them. Although this is often compressed into a single line on the internet, the reality is much more complex and deeper than that. These claims first came to light in September 2024. At first, it just seemed like some people in her inner circle were trying to poke holes at her public image, probably due to an internal misunderstanding. Not until someone released a Google document that contained more than enough convincing evidence. The first page of this document read, "The artwork in this document is censored, the NSFW, but the conversations that me and her had are still graphic, and I would recommend being 16 years or older if you're going to read this. I feel like I need to reiterate that Cine is not a pedophile, but a g***er. She was not attracted to me for being a child. She did not date me, she me." Whoever created the document also not only took the time to clearly explain and define their relationship with Cine, they also documented all the chats and exchanges they had with each other. What's worse, Cine didn't have these conversations ignorantly. She seemed to be fully aware of the age of the person she was interacting with, but that didn't stop her. In fact, it seemed to be the driving force and adrenaline for these interactions. They would also talk for long hours. Allegedly, Cine didn't only communicate with this person via text, they also had long, frequent calls and voice messages. This was her second confirmation at the person's age, and even after that, she still went ahead to initiate inappropriate discussions with a minor. The news spread on the internet like wildfire because the Google document with all the evidence was very accessible. Now, it was not just that communication took place between Cine and a juvenile. I mean, many creators speak with younger fans. But in this case, it was rather that the nature of those exchanges was said to have gone beyond the generally acceptable and moral bounds. These materials started spreading like wildfire as screenshots, writing, commentary videos, Reddit threads, wikis for fandoms, call-out posts on Tumblr, etc. Whenever the conversations got too deep and the person couldn't catch up, she'd go the extra mile to explain. Education. Bear in mind that the person censored in blue is one of Cine's adult friends that she would also share scenarios with, but she decided to share their conversations with Inno because she wanted to tell him some of the scenarios. This even goes ahead to prove that Cine wasn't doing this with just one person, starting to look more like a habit, maybe even an addiction. Now, if these allegations had come from just one person, it could have been possible to say it was probably staged or address it as a one-time mistake, but this was just one out of the many others that spoke up on the subject, and all of them were backing up their claims with graphic evidence. Then another victim named Daniel was also very vocal about his own experience on Twitter. He released an entire thread just to talk about the Cine drama. Notice how all of them follow the same pattern. They start by making it very clear that Cine was not oblivious of their age while these conversations were being made. Cine also seemed to target the most vulnerable minors. So at first, Danny was just a concerned fan who reached out to Cine to be sure she was okay. She could have said, "Oh yeah, I'm good," and left it at that, but she didn't. So she was emotionally manipulating him because she knew he was naive. Telling a minor about the issue she was having with coworkers and her roommate, how's he supposed to understand or render any help? Frankly, it's none of his business. Be my friend? Okay, Cine, how are you going to defend this one? Think you've seen enough? Nah, there's more. Yep, Cine took the time to write a boy comic and shared it with minors. If all the other evidence didn't do justice, this one did. It'll be rather difficult to describe this last piece of evidence to you, so we'll just show you instead. Once this was released, Cine was left dumbfounded. Most people would go off the radar after this, but Cine didn't. She uploaded a response video where she acknowledged that she was wrong, expressed her regret, and said that she was going to seek therapy. Unfortunately, she deleted the video shortly after.
I've a minor.
A few moments later.
I am not a groomer.
And put up this post on her YouTube. And the comments that came after this post weren't pretty at all. And this last comment hit the nail on the head. No mincing words, because honestly, after hearing the allegations laid against her, no one wanted to be associated with Cine. Even before other personal conflicts surfaced, this allegation alone was enough to derail Cine's career because it involved a minor, private messaging, a platform known for blurred boundaries, and it contradicted the trust her audience placed in her. Some viewers felt betrayed, especially those who had grown up watching her content. Surprisingly, there were no court charges, or at least no court cases were made public or shared online, and neither were any statements from law enforcement made public. This sort of explains why the internet served as judge, jury, and archivist, for better or worse. After the unexpected revelation and Cine's deleted apology, she went off the radar for a while. No videos, no posts, no tweets, no content, she was on a media hiatus. Some people thought she was running away from the situation, trying to avoid taking responsibility, but some others thought it was the only logical way to proceed. Both opinions were wrong, because what we didn't know was at that time, Cine was busy trying to fix the entire situation.
Everyone makes mistakes. I've had more than my share, but it's okay cause I'm gonna repair it.
And when she came out, she deleted her initial apology and put this up instead.
Nothing in the past week has made sense. I was completely convinced that I was a predator and a groomer and that I needed intervention. I'm realizing that I might not even have a clear understanding of what grooming is. I believed I groomed a child because Jack told me I did, and I believed him because I trusted him. But Jack doesn't know what he's talking about. I made my confession under duress. I fully believed I was a groomer because Jack told me I was one, but I don't believe that anymore. I am not a groomer. I did not groom Eno.
She basically denied the entire thing, starting off by defining grooming and saying that what she did didn't tick all the boxes in the definition of grooming. And then she went ahead to blame Jack for everything. This was really unsettling because it forced us to face the reality that relationships formed online are not always genuine, and harm doesn't always need malevolent intent. She also claimed that she never tried to educate Eno on anything, but the Google document he put together proved otherwise. Honestly, the entire video just made it seem like Cine was trying so hard to be right. She just wanted to look good at whatever cost.
I did not select them. In fact, they talked to me first. Substance misuse. Didn't do that. Now there's some other things that we really need to discuss when we're talking about this whole grooming situation. So firstly, I am a hetero woman. I am attracted to men, as you can see from these fucking cringy ass conversations that I had with Eno. I did not want to date Eno. I never considered that as an option. I did not reach out to Eno, and it took Eno 3 months of persistently pestering, prying, clearly warped, and these conversations just sounded like, I'm quoting Kumo, locker room girl talk. I myself have never been very social. I would even call myself socially inept. I'm a bit of a retard, so I never considered that there was an existing dynamic that sounded similar to my conversations. This was two girls talking about Jeremiah down the block and how hot he is. Once again, I feel the need to make this painfully clear that I am not excusing how I talk to Eno.
She mentioned the names of some of her supporters, like Kumo, to back her points, although later on we found out that even that was a deliberate move and Jack warned us ahead of time. All the while, when many had assumed Cine was in therapy, repenting and getting better, she was actually doing something entirely different behind the scenes. Cine put together a team of creators who'd spend extended time digging up information and assessing the situation to help Synnibear return as a saint, and I think the strategy was to blame Jack. That's a picture of Cine's journal. Another reason why it looked like blaming Jack was the strategy is the fact that Cine released an apology video, but rather than apologizing, she spent half the time blaming Jack and responding to this video?
Nothing in the past week has made sense. I was completely convinced that I was a predator and a groomer and that I needed intervention. I'm realizing that I might not even have a clear understanding of what grooming is. I believed I groomed a child because Jack told me I did, and I believed him because I trusted him. But Jack doesn't know what he's talking about. He's the one who brought the situation to the public. He made a lot of points in his video, and I have a lot to say about them. I'm gonna be going more in depth on the things that Jack complained about in his video. I'd like to just get started. Jack's behavior throughout this situation has been really fucking strange, and I have to question what his motivation was, both in this situation and honestly in our friendship. I'm not sure why he felt like he needed $10,000 from a GoFundMe just to get away from me. That's a shit ton of money. Maybe it's for a fresh start, but it feels a bit exploitative. It feels strange to make a video educating people about someone you believe to be a predator and then ask for a shit ton of money that isn't even meant to help the victim. I feel like he could have asked for enough to buy a plane ticket and a few months of food. Even then, I'm thinking about how we spent 4 days in Seattle for vacation, and Jack's family was exceptionally generous. His aunt let us sleep on her couch for those 4 days, and his grandparents each gave us hundreds of dollars just to shop in Seattle, as well as paying for our plane tickets to and from Seattle. But I heard the aunt suggesting Jack ask his papa for expensive gifts because he's likely to buy them for him. If Jack needed money, I feel like he could ask his grandparents for help. Plus, his aunt went to fucking law school. She could probably help him find affordable housing under the guise that Jack is too disabled to work. I feel like his family would be more than likely to help him since Jack keeps framing the situation as an emergency. He needs to get away from Cine Bear 3 right now! I've also seen plenty of people questioning the use of the panty and stocking designs on his GoFundMe page. I actually asked him that too, because he showed me the page when he made it. I asked why he was using a picture of the two of us, and his explanation was that he just threw it all together. I didn't push any further. I saw a lot of people also pointing out that it was weird to include the panty and stocking animation. I kind of agree. It's strange that in the video where you're warning everyone about Cine Bear 3, the predator, the freak,
I'm not a freak, unlike Cine.
You include an animation of me dancing on a stripper pole and taking off my panties.
And why did it even take her so long to reply in the first place?
Jack claims I assaulted him, which is just not true. In his video, he shows a screenshot of me losing my mind over the fact that he was saying I assaulted him. This, plus the fact that Jack admits to consenting to me touching him, should have tipped y'all off that he was talking out of his ass.
Touching back on, Cine's, assault towards me, I'd like to preface this by saying this is gonna get kinda graphic, so I'm sorry. On a daily basis, she, makes comments about my ass, how big and squishy it is, and how she wants a boyfriend with an ass like mine, and she would constantly slap it and grab it. And I'm gonna be honest, I consented to this because I've never had an IRL friend before, and I didn't know what kind of touching was and wasn't okay. And, I also consented to her, touching my boobs. And, I guess, this stuff is fine because I consented to it, but there's stuff that she did that I didn't consent to. She would often poke me, in the ass or, on my crotch and, make jokes about me, and, I told her not to do this, and I said no multiple times, and I would even, scream if she did it, but she did it even as recently as, a few nights ago, I think. I still have my doubts about, my feelings about this because, with that thing, I didn't continue to say no, and I confronted Cine about this, and she said she thought I was joking when I said no, which I have a recording of, but I'll show the recording later.
Yes, I did make a lot of comments about Jack's ass and how big and squishy it is. I've smacked him on the ass, I've grabbed his ass, I've even used his ass as a pillow. I've played with his ass, and I've always asked if what I was doing bothered him or made him uncomfortable, and he's always said he doesn't mind. He doesn't care. It's fine. He says he didn't consent to me poking him in the ass or in the crotch, which I have to say, I don't know if he ever made it explicitly clear that he didn't like me poking him in the ass, and I do genuinely feel bad if I was making him uncomfortable by doing that. I say in the recording he took of me, by the way, I had no fucking idea I was being recorded, I tell him I thought he was joking when he told me no. There's a lot of things that I do to Jack expecting a specific reaction because he makes funny noises. I would often grab his face and squish it in my hand and he'd make a murr sound, and I thought it was funny. I would hold his nose closed, and when I let go he would inhale really hard. Funny. I'd pinch his double chin and he'd say, "My gizzard." Funny. When I poked him in the ass, he would scream. Not a guttural scream, like it would be easy for me to assume that he was scared or upset. It was like a silly scream, like, "Ah! Ah!" Last time I remember doing this though, he didn't react at all. He was playing with Squirp on the cat tree and I poked him in the ass and he didn't react. He just kept playing with the cat. He didn't even flinch. How am I supposed to know that you don't like what I'm doing if you don't tell me? If you told me before, then it wasn't really clear. You gotta be explicit with me. I'm autistic. I'm stupid. He says I poked him in the crotch, and I have 2 memories of doing this, and both times I immediately apologized afterwards. I poked him in the gents on accident because I was trying to poke him in the ass and I went too low, and he told me, "You poked me in the veg!" And I apologized profusely and stressed that I didn't mean to. I poked him in the pubic area once and then immediately asked if it was okay to do that, and to be frank, I don't actually have a clear memory of his response. I don't know why. This isn't something I do regularly. That's why I had to question if I actually did that in the recording.
Anyway, Synnie went on and on about how Jack was guilt-tripping her and lying about everything, defending and sharing her own part of every narrative Jack has shared earlier. At some point, she broke into tears, though skeptics weren't buying it because it seemed more strategic than sincere.
I can't help but think that he wanted me to myself. I love him so much, but I can't help but feel like I was used. I did everything for him. I loved him, and I thought he loved me, and I feel like he wanted me to myself. He's taken everything from me, and he's laughing at me. He's mocking me when I thought he loved me. I don't know where he is right now. I don't know if he's safe. I don't know what's happening to him. He said he was going to make a second video talking about me, but he had to stop because of something dangerous happening, and I don't know what he was referring to. I feel sick because I still care about him. I genuinely hope he is safe. I still love him. Even after seeing all this, I still love him. I don't know why he's acting like this. I know he has borderline personality disorder, so I really hope that this is just him splitting on me, and maybe later down the line he'll come to his senses and realize that I'm not the monster he's saying I am. That could just be hopeful thinking.
Talking about how she still loved Jack and wanted him back, honestly, I think their love-hate relationship is tiring at this point. Even though the video wasn't accepted the way she thought it would be accepted, even though she still got a lot of hate from the video, even though she wasn't consoled when she cried, even though she was thought to be delusional to think she wasn't a with all the evidence that was raised against her, Synnie continued working hard to prove her innocence. Yet, the internet has called her a weirdo.
Every single invitation to this event has been declined.
What? Let me take a look at this. Are you joking me? Hold on. Barack Obama said no? Lady Gaga said no? Oprah Winfrey said no? Oh my god, Macklemore said no!
And a lot of viral videos were circulating.
Looks like another YouTuber got exposed for liking kids.
The internet was in a rage. But Synnie wasn't affected by it. That's what had many of us looking forward to whatever she was up to. She worked tirelessly with a team of creators to create something that would calm the storm, and they seemed to have gotten something really good, until the team had an internal fight and their secret was exposed.
Let's see if I can explain the Just a Robot drama in 60 seconds or less. You see, there is this YouTuber by the name of Cine Bear who is a groomer, and Just a Robot thought it was a good idea to try and defend this person. Now, another person involved with defending Cine Bear didn't like Just a Robot, and so he released Just a Robot's video ahead of time. Just a Robot had to release it on his end, and the defense video for Cine Bear is absolutely awful, making weird justifications for her behavior against children. And let's just say that in the weeks following all this happening, multiple calls have been leaked, including calls and messages where he's requesting very inappropriate art of certain YouTubers, and it's absolutely disgusting. So Just a Robot, his career is over.
Kumo and Just a Robot had a misunderstanding, so Kumo leaked the video Just a Robot was working on, and to put it simply, that was the end of Just a Robot's content creation career.
Just a Robot, or JAR for short, is a commentary creator whose story becomes stranger with every layer pulled back. It's an assemblage of arrogance.
I've won almost every single drama I've been in, even when I was on the losing side.
Questionable comments.
Want to see my cock?
And ignorance of the very thing JAR was meant to provide clarity on.
You have pinned your channel to the reputation of someone and you've not even reviewed all the evidence. What is wrong with you? What's wrong with your programming, Mr. Robot?
Those clips were all in relation to JAR's video on Synnibear 03. That to many was a defense of Synnibear, a predator that sent graphic images to minors as well as roleplayed with them despite stating she would never do it again. Though Synnibear did receive a fair amount of coverage, there was increasing attention towards Jar, as this all exposed a pattern of behavior that brought both ire and amusement.
It's all Harley's fault that this is happening. I could make a video and put them all 6 feet under. She's the child who was too scared to get into a call with me.
Attracted to her avatar? Boy, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What kind of drugs are you on? You gotta be. Cause dang, like, we can't even use like this was a young person argument. Because I'm willing to forgive the behavior of like a 21-year-old, but like, someone who's been making videos or anything creative around like since 2017, you're closer to 30 than you are to 20, friend. You are so into her and she is not into you. Like, I can't even imagine some of the things that you said were nasty in the first place. And it's like, you used your girlfriend as a defense for your actions. Like, oh, I have a girlfriend. I can't be into her. Like, oh my god. Just because a girl and a guy exists doesn't mean that the guy has to be attracted.
You're probably familiar with the phrase, if I go down, you're coming with me. But with Just a Robot, it's more like, if someone goes down, I'm going to throw myself down with them. Bro is the definition of folded under zero pressure.
And soon enough, he was on the Hall of Fame of YouTubers who ruined their careers in seconds.
YouTubers who screwed up their careers in seconds part 3. Our lovely guest here today is Just a Robot. Just a Robot made commentary and political videos on his channel, and he wasn't exactly a stranger to falling off occasionally. But one incident truly sparked his downfall.
But what really went down? Before the Reddit turbulence, the viral tweets and all, Cine, Kumo, and Just a Robot were actually cool. At the time, Cine was still a hot topic on social media. She deleted all her YouTube videos, probably to cool off the steam, but people kept breathing down her neck. In fact, that move only further convinced most people that the allegations were true. So the trio were always conversing, having private discussions, voice calls, and even direct messages about Cine's allegations, brainstorming and thinking of ways to restore her public image, even with how bad things had gotten. Just a Robot, Jar, even acknowledged that he had a private conversation with Cine before putting up this video. Jar had to take the video down shortly after because he received a lot of controversial responses from fans and anti-fans alike. People were mad at Jar for speaking for her on his platform and told him to mind his business, so Jar put the video down. Normally this would cool down with time and everyone would let it slide and go back to loving Jar again, but the exact opposite happened. Things escalated quickly and went totally out of hand. Why? Because Jar didn't just defend Cine, he publicly acknowledged that he used to think she was attractive. Just one admission? The internet went crazy. The story suddenly changed from Jar is analyzing a situation to Jar is compromised. Within a few hours, he was accused of bias in Reddit postings. Someone even created an entire playlist of almost 20 videos talking about how wrong and twisted Jar was. As if the Jar criticism wasn't enough, Kumo also joined the party. He was defending Cine publicly on live streams, making fun of critics, implying that people were being overbearing. Those streams have been taken down and are currently unavailable, but let's check out this summary on Reddit. Kumo Commentary made 2 live streams defending Synnibear 03 and alleged that Birdie is a scammer. Just a Robot makes comparisons to the original Spoctor drama. As the title said, Kumo made 2 live streams with claims and thumbnails that both defended Synnibear by saying she never anyone and was not a predator. She, an adult, was talking about actual situations with a 14-year-old and was caught, so it's kinda hard to argue against the second one. With the defense that she was pressured into making a false confession. The true villain? Her roommate Birdie, who Kumo claims is scamming people for free money and is ruining Cine's reputation just to get donations. He also goes out of his way to mock and misgender Birdie both in the videos and the comments, with glowing comments such as, "If you care about pronouns, you're not fit for this world." Multiple people in the comments are claiming that Cine helped him with the videos, and while doing a little digging, I found someone claiming to be an ex-friend of hers saying this as well. In a reply to a tweet from Just a Robot, saying he would not be covering the situation until he interviewed Cine, saying that he thinks this is another original Spoctor drama. I then found, through some more digging, that Birdie and this ex-friend are the source of these claims. Kumo has just recently admitted that he did in fact reach out to Cine for his stream, so the streams were in fact hidden collaborations. While people were still busy giving Kumo backlash for defending Cine, others were wondering why he was so invested in the issue. Kumo suddenly turned around and leaked one of Jar's videos hours before he intended to post. The original post has been taken down, but this is what it looked like. Kumo supposedly had access to Jar's private conversations and unreleased content. The trust was broken, and that's how the public got to know that Synnie had been arranging everything behind the scenes. At this point, no one even cared whether or not it was an intentional or unintentional leak. What was more annoying is the fact that Jar wasn't being held accountable, blaming everyone else and everything else but himself. That's why, even when Jar tried to come back to YouTube years later, he wasn't accepted.
I have no pity at all for any fucking soldiers. I will never have any fucking pity for any fucking soldiers. U.S. military? Who fucking who? I hope you get PTSD. But like any other motherfucker, you're joining them, you're like, oh my god, I want my Camaro, no student loans. Fuck you. I hope you get PTSD.
Wake up, Frogan. Wakey, wakey, Frogan. It's time to wake up. This isn't a dream. This is a nightmare.
The internet hadn't forgotten what he did. The big questions that neither of them could answer was, why are all of you trying to protect someone who's clearly wrong? Soon enough, the videos were taken down, and Synnie disappeared from social media for a while. Synnie's actually been trying to apologize about the grooming issue since September 15th, 2024, when she posted that video titled, "I'm So Sorry." She promised to start therapy, avoid social media, shut down her server on Discord, shut down her Patreon, and stop sharing artwork online. But she eventually deleted that video. After that time, she hasn't really been operational. Her channel is still active, but there's no new content. More recently, Synnie's put up another apology video. She titled this one, "Final Apology," and we hope it is.
Hello, my name is Cine Bear 03. I know this video is probably unexpected, but I've been really unhappy with the last two videos I made for a long time now. I made both videos way too soon after everything happened. My first apology video wasn't truly an apology, it was more so a reaction video to my own exposure. And the second response video was heavily puppeted by other people, and that one in particular I really despise. I'm hoping this video will serve as a better response and apology, and hopefully it can make up for the previous videos I've made.
Do you think Synnibear would ever return to social media? Are you looking forward to her return? Let us know in the comments. The internet seems to follow a trend. A new person comes in, rises through the ranks, we ignore all the warning signs, and then when everything blows up, we panic.